For those of you who have not been following the channel, I have set upon finding out what the best and most affordable camera gear there is to be found in the Micro Four Thirds ecosystem. And I believe it's only fitting to start with the runt of the litter. This lowly 14-42 Olympus M.Zuiko. Now this kit lens came with cameras such as the Olympus EPL3 and possibly the Olympus EP3 amongst other variants. So then, without further ado, let's start with the build quality and the materials used for this particular lens. Now I shall be bringing it closer to both the cameras that I am filming with, so you can actually see the lens itself. Now, it's plastic fantastic all the way, and well, it doesn't help that this particular unit is pretty scratched and bent. I believe that some of the previous owners have tried opening up this lens without knowing how the mechanism functions. Now keep in mind, this is sort of a pancake hybrid, I like to call it. So it is a collapsible lens. You just lift this, this latch here, and you just twist it around. It's not necessarily intuitive, but you get the hang of it. Now my first suggestion would be not to do this while the lens is on the camera, because you risk damaging the lens mount and the lens itself, also the camera for that matter. So you can see a lot of scratches around the rim and the bezels, but yeah, for all intents and purposes this is a fully functioning lens, albeit a bit tired one at that. So there's no fungus inside, which is good, no debris, and the glass seems to be a pretty quality material on both sides. It's supposed to be some sort of low anti-glare effect thing. So yeah, Olympus really tried their best on this thing, but for the build quality it is a bit of a letdown. It's plastic all the way. Have a listen. And furthermore, when you connect it to the camera, which I shall do right now, furthermore, it makes some sort of interesting sound when you connect it to a camera and it starts focusing. Have a listen. Yeah, so that's not a sound you want to hear when you think about camera gear and the like. However, such is the way with cheap lenses. They're not actually all that great, though from afar they do seem to inspire some sort of, professional feel amongst uninitiated individuals. I think we covered the construction and the material sufficiently. Let's just go on and take a couple of photos, a couple of videos, a couple of nature shots, and a few zoom shots, and we shall discuss about the performance and draw up some conclusions, also keeping in mind the value in 2026. Of course, this is a zoom kit lens, and it's a pretty versatile unit, but you can't really expect bokeh effects and high quality, impressive performance from such a lowly device. It's supposed to offer a lot of versatility, but it doesn't touch any high points, meaning you will not get a lot of zoom. At 42 millimeters with an f of 5.6, you will be struggling in low light conditions, and you will also not get impressive shots either in portrait mode or rather zoom mode. So yeah, portrait mode in Micro Four Thirds should be about 25 millimeters, but don't expect brilliant performance out of such a lens. I will show some results, but you get the idea. However, the wide shots should be actually pretty good, and well, I believe and I know not many of you agree with this, but I believe wide shots are pretty useful when doing a bit of city breaks and I don't know, tourist stuff outside in the warmer climate when the days are long, and the perspective for beautiful photography is actually pretty good. However, this is just my personal take on the matter, and I think we should go take a couple of shots to see the actual results. Now, for the purpose of this test, I have decided to pair all the lenses with the Olympus EPL3 shown here, and this is for a few reasons. First of all, this camera is a pretty good performer even in 2026. It does offer in-body image stabilization, a 3-axis system at that, but still good enough. It's not expensive, and well, given that some lenses will have optical image stabilization like this Panasonic 14-45, and some will not offer that like the Olympus 14-42, I considered it only fitting to have a camera which has the IBIS set up from the get-go, so we can get the best results out there. And considering this thing is pretty affordable at about 60 to 100 euros or so, I think this will be within the budget of every other user out there. So if I were to label this lens, I would call it consistent. As mentioned previously, I have taken my sample shots with the Olympus EPL3. And in this combo, well, so first thing I can say about the lens, in the larger spectrum, the wider spectrum of the setup, in 14 millimeters, there were no distortions on the sides of the shots. The details were clear enough. There's plenty of light getting through, especially in this sunlight conditions. And I have taken my shots with intelligent auto on, or rather with aperture priority. I didn't really see too many differences. I did not adjust the setup too much because I wanted to see how it performs out of the box. Now, if you zoom in the images just a bit, you can see while the details start to become grainy and you lose some of that quality, that photo quality, but that could be just as well due to the camera, a later model, as to the lens itself. Now, on the bright side, you get decent details. On the other hand, the quality of the image, well, rather the feel, the warmth of the image and the quality of the lens is nothing to write home about. Something interesting though, in low light conditions, as seen in this photo right here, you could see that there is plenty of subject separation and, well, plenty of detail considering the less than stellar aperture performance. Now, when you zoom in during low light conditions, you can start to see you lose some details and, well, you get that blurry photo, but that's due also to the fact that, well, I'm not such a great photographer and my hands are shaky, and that's partly the cause and, well, partly the camera and, well, the lens itself. So yeah, it's not a letdown, but it's not a strong point. Neither is filming, for that matter. So I have recorded some 1080p Full HD clips, but as you can see, there's a lot of distortion, a lot of noise, a lot of movement for a camera that offers stabilization. But there you have it. And now, the first reason I would not recommend this lens for shooting videos, it's the noisy servo motors. The autofocus motor is very noisy, and I can show you again right now. So if I turn this thing on like so and try to focus, have a listen. Yeah, so that noise right there is pure buzzkill when it comes to video. So whatever you do, don't consider this lens perspective for YouTube videos and the like. So yeah, those are the main conclusions when it comes to picture and video performance of this 14 to 42 Olympus M.Zuiko. Now when it comes to value, this thing is about 60 euros. Actually, I am planning to sell it for 60 euros, and well, it is one of the cheaper lenses out there, even from this particular model and range. But really, for the price, you cannot realistically go any lower. On the plus side, it's a well-rounded performer with decent quality photos and some highlights in the correct conditions, though a bit finicky to use with a loud servo motor and a plasticky construction that doesn't really do it any favors. It's robust and rigid enough to sustain any abuse, though it feels very flimsy in the hand and is a big letdown if you are looking to hold something that has that premium feel, like the 14 to 45 Lumix original Micro Four Thirds lens. So should you consider this lens? Well, sure, if you're looking to buy a very cheap, yeah, you can go this way, though consider that this is not in any case the best bang for the buck value out there, and pretty soon you will find yourself wanting a replacement due to its shortcomings. Whether you opt for such a lens or not, it is entirely up to you, of course. And well, in the meantime, I shall be preparing my future videos where I shall be talking about more expensive and slightly better built lenses from the Micro Four Thirds system. In the meantime, remember, I buy, hoard and collect weird and quirky obsolete stuff like this camera gear from the Micro Four Thirds ecosystem, so you don't have to. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye.